there's always a fundamental fear in the human soul. There are not so many of them. This is useful for people. You know that, it's a fear of death, fear of being alone, fear of not being loved, fear of not being recognized, fear of being useless, fear of being worthless, fear of having nothing. Basically, I'm sure that everybody's covered here,
I'm on the list.
Just pick it. Right?
I'm on the list, I just saw, I'm looking.
You saw yours? Yes, okay, So any one of you here, you can, for fun, just try to identify which one. Now, maybe you have a few of them, why not? It's not exclusive.
So death alone? What else?
To fear of death, fear of loneliness, fear of not being loved, fear of being useless, fear of being worthless, fear of having nothing, fear of not being recognized. I don't know, I never have a precise list, but it's roughly something like that, And if anybody's not on the list, please raise your hand.
And fear to be not listed.
You're not on the list? You're not on the list? You don't recognize any of one of them?
Just go in consultation.
You don't recognize any of them as being something haunting your soul? No?
I recognize the contrary.
The contrary of what?
Of being alone.
What? Oh, yeah. I mean, you fear of other people. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, you are. Thank you. Okay.
The perfection goes also here. It's just
perfection is a fear of being worthless.
okay.
See, perfection is I call ghost concept. It's the shadow of nothingness, right? Like for our friends, loneliness, and it's going to sound strange to you, but the fear of other people is a fear of loneliness. It's the same thing. Opposite are born together. So you got yours then. Are you happy?
Very.
Okay, I was worried that I had an unsatisfied client in this room, So you can check it out. Now, don't try to say, yeah, but they're together. Of course, you can connect them, but try to find the one. And if you don't you think the different one, try one with the other with. Because you're not sure if your fear of being alone or the fear is to not being loved. So I give you a trick you use, very simple. I give you two lives, two possible lives. In one life, you're loved, but there's nobody. Like you're loved by some sailor who's gone overseas forever, or astronaut. He's never there, but you're loved, right? And he loves you, you love him, blah, 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 but nobody. Or no love, but you're full of people, you have friends, you have a beer together, lots of people. Which one? Some people say, no, I prefer love, even though I never see my love. Others say, no. I prefer not to be loved, but I want people, right? So second one is loneliness, the problem. First one is love, right? But there's always one which is stronger than the other. So try to identify. If you do this work on yourself, it's nice. It's already interesting. You can make statistics. Who has identified his category? Raise your hand. His category. Who has identified his category? Raise your hand.
Their category.
Well, I gave categories. Fear of death. Fear of not being loved, of loneliness, blah, blah, blah. Anybody didn't identify it? Raise your hand.
Their own category? No.
Yeah, their own category. Well, of course, the other, who cares, but the others,
No, I thought you. Okay.
Yeah, who has not identified his own category?
Did not.
Nelson, he did not?
Catholic.
Okay.
No, you did not?
No.
None of these things bother you?
Yes, I can
Which one
see
bothers you?
almost all of them. I don't know.
That's true.
All of them bother you?
No, yes,
life
at
might
least
be
a couple
terrible.
of them, yeah.
Right?
At least a number of them.
At least a number of
It
them.
would be hard choosing, I think.
They're choosing. They're choosing. Well, just pick two, for example, which would be leading contenders.
Worthless and loneliness?
Okay, let's go with that. So I propose one. You're worthless. Oh, wow, everybody is with you, wants to see you. Nelson. They go, Nelson. We want Nelson. But you're worthless. Paris Hilton, worthless, but everybody wants to see you, to know you, blah, blah, right? Second, well, you're so full of wealth, you know, internal wealth and everything, but nobody knows you, nobody wants to see you. Which life do you prefer?
Okay, the last one you said.
You prefer the last one. So worthlessness is worse than loneliness.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Fun. It's called a thought experiment, you know? All this is thought experiment, yeah?
The what?
Thought experiment. Yeah, experience of thoughts. And a lot of the thing we're inviting people to do is little thought experiments, you know? And to see how you think, you know, and to check it out. Yes.
And how about fear of death? You prefer to be dead and not wealthy? How you compare with fear of death?
Well, you want to compare death to which one?
As an example, worthless.
Worthless and death, okay?
Or useful. Useless.
Useless, what's worse? Okay, then I propose you two lives, right? Once, you'll be very useful. Very useful. Wow. But you're going to live only 10 years. 10 years to go, then you die. Second.
I understand it.
You're going to live 100 years. You're going to live for 100 years. What? But useless, like, you know, totally useless.
Okay.
Which one do you prefer? 100 years useless, yes? So definitely fear of death is your... But you knew that, right?
Yes.
You just wanted confirmation, yeah. Okay.
No, just interesting how it's about how we compare.
The tools.
It's the tools.
Yeah. You make little fairy tale, you know? Little
It's
story.
about timing, the timeline, yeah?
Well,
Fear of
death is interruption, right? So you give a short time span, right? You know? But some people would prefer to live 10 years and be, you know, recognized, blah, 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 blah. You know, unlike you, they would prefer that. But to live for 100 years, not being loved, worthless, and all that, it's, you know. Now, of course, you can tell me change your mind tomorrow, but in generally, this little thing, it works not bad. It generally hits this kind of thing, you know. Existential choices, you know. What you have with Plato, the myth of air, about choosing a life, you know, choosing your life, your second life. Which second life would you choose? You know, but but it creates a lot of fears, and for me, why it seems sometimes we're hard when we speak like this. We do this job here. It's hard because we're proposing really terrible things to people, like, you know, nobody loves you ever. You're all alone for 100 years. You know, it's crazy. But it's the point is that it's liberating. See, to think the unthinkable is liberating. First, it's, you know, it's like stuns you. It's strong, but it's liberating because all these things we have, all of us, in the back of our head. What do you think when I propose who wants to come here? Nobody wants to come. You notice that? It makes no sense. People come for a seminar. You come all the way here, and I say, then who wants to come here? You know, I had to grab people, right? So it is that there is fear. The fear of what? You know, it makes no sense in the absolute. Or you could think, this is fun. I'm going to enjoy a little talk with Oscar. You know.
I know. What final goal with, when we're dealing with fears? It's to reconcile people with this. Or
well, first of all, is to look at it face to face. You know, and not look aside. Because that's the worst. You have fear of the fear. That's the most terrible. And that's what most human beings do. They have fear of the fear. That's the worst. Fear, that's okay. But fear of the fear, that's terrible. You go crazy because everything you do, you know, is to try to hide from that, right? So first you have to recognize, to name the fear. Name the ghost. You know? Give the name to Satan. It's already fighting Satan, just naming it, right? You know? Calling, but like in psychoanalysis or like, you know, you gotta name it, right? You name it, yeah. Second, yeah, then you try to recognize. But, you know, if you don't want to die, it's not gonna say one day, wow, I'm gonna die, you people. You know, although philosophers say that philosophizing is learning how to die, right? I think it's an interesting idea. But it's a regulatory ideal that's far, you know, but at least in that direction. You know, so thinking the worst. Okay, you die. So what's going to happen? Anyway.